Hi guys, it's a chilly morning right here on the farm. I won't call it beautiful like I always do, but a man has to work, isn't it? We do have to work, whether it's cold, whether it's beautiful, whether it's shining or not, we have to work. And I believe this mentality that I'm talking about is actually the one key factor to my success right now on the farm. A lot of times people come and ask me and they're like, but doctor, how have you been able to succeed where people have failed? How have you been able to, come up with all this good stuff where people have failed? Let me show you guys what we are doing today. So you see the guys right there, they are getting manure just like this, in these bags, like that, from the poultry houses, and we're going to go and place it in our gardens right there. Yeah, we have an alfalfa garden on the outside, and so it's very early in the morning and the guys are trying to get the manure out very slowly because we have a lot of manure. This is the oldest flock we have on the farm, 102 weeks old at the moment, and it's still laying very beautifully. Guys, I'm keeping it. I'm going to have to get rid of it maybe in a month's time when it's about 106 weeks. That's a record for me. I've never kept a flock for that long. But anyway, I'm going to have to get rid of it. But this is the manure that's coming out of the house. If I can get closer, you guys can see them piling the manure. You can see it right there. So getting it out. Okay, I'm going to, oh, sorry. So this wood we have here is quite slippery. It's going to be an accident causer. You guys can see. So too much litter, and it's a bit powdery, which is good for spreading in the garden. It makes it quite easy for us to spread in the garden because it's powdery. And this is also good because that means it didn't really cake. It's not wet because manure shouldn't be wet. Or litter inside the poultry house shouldn't be wet. So they are trying to put it together, put it in bags right here, and they're going to go and put it in the garden. So we're going to go over and I'll show you guys the garden. But how have I been able to do it when a lot of people haven't succeeded? And I've been talking to a lot of people recently, and I talk to a lot of people. And I can tell you that at least one of the key factors is the fact that I am positive. I am positive about literally everything in my life. I'm just very positive, Now, how does someone become positive? Because you're thinking in your head, okay, Dr. Daniel, you're positive. I'm probably not positive. So does that mean that I'm going to fail for the rest of my life? And I'll tell you what I think. I actually think being positive is not an inborn thing. I actually think it is a character that's developed, Because I don't think it's genetic. If it's genetic, then it's certainly just partially genetic, not fully genetic. It's not like sickle cell anemia or asthma, which is, 100% genetic, something like that, With this, I can tell you that the environment and, what you expose to and what you decide to think about has a very, very huge role to play. That's at least from my experience. Because I can tell you that when I was about maybe 12, 13, I wasn't very positive-minded. Maybe I was positive-minded, but I was quite timid, I was quite timid. I used to fear people. I used to fear what people think about me. I used to fear what people say about me. I would barely go into stuff with a bold heart or a bold mind. And I do remember I went to this secondary school, which was a really good school. But then when I joined the school, because I had come from this family that I would say was a bit poor, I was scared. I was scared of people. I was scared of everything, And because the kind of people I was interacting with in that school were like high-class people and things like that, I got intimidated. And I can tell you that my grades starting out were really bad, Oh, we are now crossing over, We're crossing over to where the guys are putting the manure, But my grades initially starting out were really, really terrible. They were really terrible. They suffered. I got very terrible performances in school. And I believe it's just because I had this low self-esteem and poor mindset. It's quite amazing that just having low self-esteem can impact your performance in almost anything in life, In fact, in like my Form 1, I was almost the last person in my class. I think I was like among the last 5 people in my class. But I don't know what happened, guys. I don't know what happened. The next year, something happened. The only thing I do remember is that I just became more confident. I was bold. I could talk to people. I wasn't afraid of people anymore. And just like that, my performance in class just switched. I started getting good grades. I started, doing all these things. And it's quite interesting, yeah, because I've not only seen it in my life, I've seen it in a lot of people's lives, yeah. Once your confidence comes up, once you get high self-esteem, your performance generally in everything goes up. And my performance went up not only in class, but literally in everything that I do, yeah. My mindset developed. So you guys can see our garden here. This is our alfalfa garden. We managed to do a cutting, yeah, and we've removed all the alfalfa from the garden. But you guys can see the manure. Now it's quite hard to see, but you see all like this stuff with the little white specks. Now the little white specks are like poultry feed. Yeah, if I can zoom in, they're like specks of maize and things like that. But everything else is the manure. Yeah. Now, because the poultry feed mixes into the manure, it's what's giving it that whitish look on the ground. But the guys have now been putting the manure in the garden, as you can see. Yeah. So they've been placing it in between the lines inside here. And this is poultry manure. It decomposes really quickly and, provides the nutrients really quickly into the soil. So we're not worried that it's going to burn or something like that. And again, it's deep litter manure. It's not manure coming from cages, yeah? It's coming directly from these poultry houses. It has both carbon being the wood shavings, mixed with the droppings, the poultry droppings. So it's going to be very good for our garden, yeah? I'm really, really hoping that this next harvest is actually going to be a better one, because the first one wasn't the very best, yeah? I'm moving around to see how the guys actually distributed it in the garden. I think they did quite well, yeah. I think they did quite well. I'm hoping that our next cutting is going to be a good one, yeah. I'm hoping it's going to be a good one. I can see that they placed it all along the garden, yeah. So we'll probably do the weeding a little bit later on. Right now we don't have a lot of weeds. Also, the manure is covering a lot of the weeds that we did have. So that means it's probably going to accelerate the growth of the weeds. But I mean, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. They have the entire garden to do, so for the rest of the day, they're going to be putting manure in the entire garden. I'm hoping by the end of the day, they're going to be done with placing manure here so that, we move on to the next agenda. But early in the morning like this, the guys are doing the work around. And that's called the success mindset. I remember when I was starting poultry farming, I met a lot of negative people. Yeah, a lot of negative people, a lot. Like there are really many, yeah? They would keep telling me about, everything that I should do and everything that I shouldn't do. They would tell me about everyone that has failed. You see, when you're starting out, people are very quick to remind you of everyone that has failed. They are not quick, though, to remind you of the people who have succeeded. And I'll tell you why. I'll be honest with you. It's just because people don't want to be left behind, yeah? People, and I mean, it's not people. I would say the mind. I would say the mind, because when I say people, some of you might feel attacked. You're like, oh, why are you talking about me? And things like that. No. I mean, it's a thing of human character. It's a thing of human nature. It's not you alone, yeah? None of us wants to be left behind. It's human nature, unless you work on it and decide to tell yourself that, hey, I'm going to be positive. I'm not going to focus on being negative. I'm going to try and do as much as I can to ensure that I focus on being positive and improving other people's lives and, cheering other people on. Unless you decide to be intentional about it, you're going to have very, very big problems, yeah? So people are not very positive in life, generally and honestly speaking, yeah? We all don't want to be left behind. And if someone tells you something beautiful or something good that they're doing or that they're going to be doing, most probably you're going to speak ill about it because you want the person to remain at your level. You feel like once they do that thing, they might move ahead and then you're going to be left behind. So what is the automated thing that someone is going to do? Say something negative about it. So if you're going to be starting a farm, it's true you're going to face a lot of difficulties. Yeah, you're going to face a lot of problems. I've personally faced a lot of problems, yeah, starting out. I remember the very first problem that I did face was a feed problem, because I didn't know how to mix the feed, and I didn't have the correct feeding ratios. Actually, didn't know where to source the feed from. I mean, I just got feed from where I thought I could source feed from, and when it reached point of using this stuff on the farm, it became quite chaotic for me. I wasn't getting the production I was expecting. I was, buying all these raw materials from different places, but I kept persisting. Yeah, I kept persisting. I was open to learning. I was open to the opportunity of, getting all this information from here and there. And if someone told me about it, I wasn't negative about it. I was okay with someone telling me that I was wrong, and I didn't take it badly, yeah, which I believe is another mistake a lot of people make. Yeah, people have this thing of, if someone tells them something and they're giving them information about something, they'll react in a negative way. Yeah, they'll react like they're angry, or why is this person telling me something about this? Why? Maybe they don't like me. Sometimes people don't tell you things because they don't like you. Yeah, you need to have the mental awareness, mental strength, the presence of mind to be able to separate and understand someone who genuinely is giving you information that could help you, or someone who is trying to pull you down. You understand? You need to, because you can feel the energy. You can tell that this person is trying to pull you down. This person is, not communicating positive vibes, or that this person genuinely wants to help me. Yeah, they're interested in my success. You can tell. We are all human beings. God has given us that thing on the inside of us because it's about survival. Yeah, God has given us that thing for us to be able to tell. Yeah. Some of them might be subtle and it might take a longer time for you to identify that, but at some point you can identify it. Yeah, and that should be the goal for all of us, to understand and to tell when someone is being positive and when someone is being negative. But the idea is you should be open to listening to what people tell you, because if I hadn't listened to that person was actually an aunt of mine, like a distant aunt. Yeah, and she had a poultry farm, and she had been doing poultry for a long time, and so she came to visit like my dad at home, because I told you guys I was doing my chicken house just in front of my dad's house. And when this person came to visit my dad, they actually found out that I wasn't doing really well. I talked to them and they gave me advice on what to do, where to buy feeds and everything, and I bought the feeds and everything just started changing immediately. The performance of my birds just got better immediately and things like that, and I started improving. And even then, I mean, from then until now, for example, let's talk about the feed. Yeah, recently, maybe a few months back, yeah, maybe earlier on this year, I made a change when it does come to poultry feed, in terms of like the raw materials I use and where I source them from. And that change changed how much money I was keeping on the farm. It increased the profitability of my farm by about $1,700, maybe $1,800, just by a simple tiny change. Yeah, just by a simple tiny change. And it's someone who recommended, and I was open to learning. So you need to have a positive mindset. Yeah, like I've told you guys, I interact with a lot of farmers, and a lot of times I'll be talking to this farmer, and the farmer will tell me about, how they're having this problem and this problem and this problem and this problem. And I'll tell them, I've also had the same problems before. Everything you're talking about, I've had the problem. And the person wants to give up. Someone wants to give up. They feel like it's becoming too much. So they're like, no, I don't think it will ever be possible. Yeah, you're doing so well. I'm not doing well at all. I don't think it will ever be possible. They want to give up. I'm like, no. If you keep the mindset of, things are difficult, things can't be figured out, then you in your mind, you don't even get the alternatives. Your mind doesn't even birth the options of, it is possible for me to do something out of this. Yeah, but if you're positive minded, you believe that things can come out, you believe that you can do well, that you can do good things, that you can do great things, then it is easier for you to sit down and birth ideas and come up with ideas and come up with options and come up with alternatives. It becomes really, really easy. Yeah, it becomes really easy. Yeah, so that is it, guys. Yeah, you need to believe that it is possible. Yeah, I believe my mindset has played a very, very huge role. It doesn't matter what's happening on the farm. Sometimes it's on the goat farm, sometimes it's right here on the poultry farm, like I've showed you guys. Yeah, our last result with the alfalfa wasn't good. Yeah, I think I'll actually go over there and show you guys. Yeah, but our last result wasn't good. Yeah, you can imagine this entire garden. What we harvested is so little. What we harvested is so little. And someone else could be like, okay, so what am I going to do? That means alfalfa is not a thing. Alfalfa doesn't work. Yeah, but then what do I think? In my head, I was like, okay, I've seen on YouTube, I've seen on other people's farms that they have had alfalfa and it actually works. It grows up and it's really nice. Why wasn't mine growing up? Okay, two factors affected my alfalfa. Yeah, number one was the nutrients. So there wasn't enough nutrients, because I could see the yellowing. Some of the areas where there was manure, you could see that it had come out really nicely and it was thick and green. But in most of the other areas, it wasn't. So manure, we need to focus on getting manure. And I have a poultry farm where there's a lot of manure. Yeah, I have a lot of poultry houses, and my manure is some of the best manure. People would want to get it and place it everywhere. Yeah, but why not utilize it? I was like, okay, I'll do that. Number two, was the rains. Yeah, the rains disappeared. I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do about that? I have different alternatives. Some of the alternatives is this time we did the cutting in the rainy season. So as I've told you guys, it's quite chilly, it's not feeling nice. But I mean, that's what, for example, the alfalfa loves. Yeah, it's going to grow up very nicely. And by the way, when I talk about chilly, I'm not talking about chilly of like, you know, winter in countries where you do have winter. For us, chilly right now is like, I don't know. Let me check the temperature. For us, Chile is like 18 degrees. 18 degrees Celsius. So 18 degrees is very cold for me. Now, in a lot of countries, that's very warm. So I'm just saying that for you to understand that, I mean, it's perfect weather for the crops to grow. Yeah, it's perfect weather. So number one, most likely we're going to have a better return because of that. But number two, I've thought of how I can get to actually irrigate this place. Yeah, so using a pump somewhere, and then, you know, a sprinkler that can be able to, you know, push out water in different directions. Yeah, and I think, yeah, that should be able to do. That should be able to do, certainly. Yeah, so be positive. Think about things in terms of solutions. Don't think about things in terms of you know, the problems that you're having. It's true, you can have the problems, but I mean, that's not going to be good enough. That's not going to solve anything. Yeah, so think about solutions. Yeah, what can I do about this? How can I make this better? Yeah, will this improve or worsen the situation that I'm in? Yeah, that's the goal. That needs to be the goal for you. So this is our new poultry house right here, and in a few days we're going to be receiving birds inside there. Yeah, 5,000 birds. This house only takes up 2,500 birds, but we're going to be receiving 5,000 birds and bringing them inside there. And you can see that it's quite far away from the rest of the farm, but it's because I'm now expanding. Yeah, so this entire area is also going to take up about 4 poultry houses. That will take the capacity of these 2 structures to 20,000. And together with the 2,000 that I already had, meanwhile, we are trying to make something that, you guys can see this. We're trying to make something that we can use for baling the alfalfa, yeah? So, I don't know, the guys actually didn't get to work like they were supposed to. I'm probably going to have to do it myself. I don't know what's wrong with people. I told them to do it, they didn't do it. So we'll probably have to do it ourselves. But yeah, we're trying to bale the alfalfa. We're going to be baling it very soon. I'll take the ramp up. I'll probably first go down so that I show you guys that, you know, we are almost ready. We are almost ready. Okay, you can see the poultry structure inside here. We're almost ready. This is it. Yeah, so here we already have our litter, we have our brooder paper there. If I zoom into it, here, almost ready to receive our birds. Okay, and then if we go to the very top, this side, the guys have been trying to finish up the top. Okay, so we'll take the ramp to go into our new poultry structure right here, and we can see our alfalfa. This is all that we collected. I mean, if I move further out, maybe you can see all of it. But this is all the alfalfa that we collected from that entire garden. Yeah, not so little, but honestly not the best. Okay, so we've placed it up here because we have a lot of rain, and we want it to wither. Yeah, we want it to properly wither from up here. After it has withered, they're going to put it in, you know, those hay makers, the bale makers. Yeah, local. We'll do it locally. Then we can give it to the goats, yeah, the young goats and things like that, because it has a lot of protein nutrients and they love it, yeah. And then probably our second sprout should be able to probably fill up the entire house. Hope you have enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell. Catch you very soon with another one. Lots of love. Bye-bye.